So they're part of the EU. So they have good relations with the EU and with that. So they're part of the open border Schengen agreement where you can travel between borders once you're in those countries without so much of a hassle, especially if you're an EU member with your passports. But that makes it so that they have to have their outside border locked off fairly tightly, because if you can get into Poland, you can get anywhere else in the rest of Western Europe. And so it's kind of surprising that they send back and deport immigrants probably more frequently than the other mainstream European countries do, because as people come in, they're required to then send them back to neighboring countries that were former communist countries to the east or to the southeast that are trying to get into mainland Europe, or I guess continental Europe, the rest of Europe, and so that puts probably some strain, I think, with their relations with the neighboring countries on the Eastern Front. Not to the extent that I've really heard anyone complain about it or have problems with it, but they're on much better terms with the countries to the west, even Germany, which polls will let you know that Germans and Russians have never quite been their favorite, for good reasons. They have really good economic relations with them. They do a lot of trade and things like that. And for a lot of these countries, the migrant workforce that comes from Poland, especially working land, is welcome, because they don't have that kind of service or the ability to provide that within their own countries. And so there is a lot of immigration. There's a lot of people moving from Poland to the neighboring countries and coming back to their own country. In recent years, because the economics have improved in Poland, they've had a movement where a lot of the people going to places like England and Britain have been coming home, because there's been some more opportunity back in Poland to where they could actually make more with their ability to spend with their lifestyle than you could in England, since everything's so expensive. And so it's been improving. It's been improving a lot. Out of all of the post-communist countries, I would say that their economics are the best. They've got a lot of business. And this was, 8 years ago while I was there as a missionary. You had banks coming in from all over Western Europe that were setting up lending for home loans and things like that, which had never been heard of before, was never an option before. You have tons of international business. You had, when I was there, 20,000 Americans living in Warsaw, just with companies doing international business. And so they have a lot of growth, a lot of potential. And because of that, a lot of people speak English, and a lot of business is now shifting more towards having customer service and meeting people's needs. Whereas before, it comes from a tradition of, bread lines where people wait at a store and there's only so much and that's all you're going to get and there's nothing else. And so what is customer service? Yeah, it's not about the customers, about what services are even available. And so it's improved a lot. And it's a very friendly country to move around because of that.